Hello and welcome to the One People Show. Hello, welcome to a One People Roundtable / Unfuckers United members conversation. This is being pre-recorded. The Unfuckers group, members group, are acting as our live studio audience, and you can see some of them, which is cool. And welcome, Dee, or wherever you are.
I'm over here, darling. Look, I'm here. Can you see me? Can everybody see me? I'm here. We're playing a new view because we're not sure how to record it this way with this many people on. I think we've got about 40 people on with us. Hi, everyone.
Yeah, there's quite a few here, and we'll see how it goes. We may at some point have to ask everybody to just turn their cameras off if it's going to be too laggy or problematic. But for those of you who want to have your videos on right now, you're welcome to. So, a couple of things that we're going to talk about today. Last week we talked about community, and we were joined by a friend of mine, Ben, who talked a lot about community and a whole bunch of other things. We broached the talk of another friend of ours, Jessie, who talked about the Soil Doctor project that he's got, and a whole bunch of other things. So they will pop in and join us. You guys, there was quite a bit of interest in that work, and there were some questions, so they agreed to jump on today. So we'll get to that. We have been asked to, and Dee and I actually haven't discussed it, so I don't know where this is going, but we have been asked by several people to address a recent 1 hour and 15-minute PowerPoint presentation video that was dedicated to myself and Danny. It was, from what I can gather, because just from feedback from people who did watch it, because I haven't. I did start to.
I haven't watched it.
I did start to, but after 5 minutes of listening to another person be attacked that had nothing to do with anything, I couldn't go any further. So, but I have had people who listened to it and tell me what it involved. So, a lot of work obviously went into it, preparing a PowerPoint presentation. Which I have no comment on.
Can I say something here?
Yes, darling.
This is Sheila, and I'd like to go on record right now as saying that I have seen the video, and I was a little miffed and confused because I'm the one who started the whole idea of Unfucker Island as a joke, and all of a sudden it's like a cult being depicted. And I want to go on record as saying my interest in community and my interest in trying to build something that is good has been turned into something completely not what I thought would ever be. And I wanted to make sure I was here tonight so I could state that very clearly, because I'm the one, very first time ever saying anything about that. It was my idea. I've never been on camera anywhere for anything. I don't even know you ladies personally. I love the whole thing that we've had going on Facebook and the Unite network, and I had to get that out. So I'll unmute now. I'll go back to mute now, but I had to say that.
Thank you, Sheila. I wouldn't have outed you. I was going to say something in one of the rooms and say, we weren't even the ones who brought up the island, but I didn't know.
No problem, Danny, because I was I listened to the whole thing, and I went, what the hell? That was so innocent. The whole thing was so innocent and really just a joke to begin with. And then to find that it's actually being turned into, we're a cult and we're crazy. I get enough of that in my real life. I felt like, I don't know, it was just kind of weird and surreal for me to have that happen from someone who really obviously wasn't even involved in the situation and didn't truly know what that was about. And it was very unsettling. I've had a very unsettling feeling about it all day, and I wanted to make damn sure that I came on here tonight and stated that for the record for anybody out there who may or may not see this in the future, because that wasn't right. It had nothing to do with you two, had nothing to do with them or anything else, and I was kind of ticked about it a little bit, to be honest.
Yep.
So I'll leave now and get off my soapbox.
Well, thank you, Sheila. We appreciate it. And there's some people who are going to realize when, last Monday show to like, this Monday show, they've missed a whole piece. So to sum it up, Lisa and I are going independent and we have left CCN. That was what our announcement was on Tuesday morning to everyone, that we are going our separate ways. We're going independent. Lisa and I have a lot of big things that we're working on at the moment. And that was it. And unfortunately, since that time, Mel V has written several articles. While not naming us directly, it's very much put towards us. It's very much aimed at us. And then put out an hour and 16-minute video last night that I haven't watched. I will not watch it. I don't need the emotional, I don't need the anger, thanks. So I haven't watched it, but there's been a lot of controversy today. And Lisa and I just want to kind of touch on a few things just to clear it up a little bit, because Lisa and I made a choice. And we made a choice after a lot of conversation, a lot of deliberation, and this wasn't a choice that happened overnight. This is a choice that this is something we've been under discussion for a long time. And we made the choice of how to deal with it, i.e. giving written resignation, doing it everything in writing, and we made that choice knowing what we know about past events, knowing how we have seen things play out. That is why we've chosen to not do it verbally. We did it completely in writing, so everything was in writing. And that was it. We wanted to like bow out. Thank you for, providing the platform for the last year. We will not be continuing. This following year coming up, we're going to be doing our own thing. And that was it. And that is literally how we left it. I won't play the game of he said, she said. I won't sit here, and Lisa's, I know, will probably say the same thing. We're not interested in going in discussing details. We had no interest in any negative effect on CCN or on the other broadcasters or the producers. That is why we left the way we did. Very quietly, we were just going on to new things that we have planned. And unfortunately, everything is now blown up to the point of being a spectacle. And that is not what we wanted. We were trying to do it very nicely, very quietly. And yes, no, we have not spoken to Mel and Biggie. And there's very specific reasons for that. And we made the choice knowing what the outcome of that would be. But at this point, it is the only situation that makes sense for us.
I'm going to add to that a little bit. Statements were made that they have no idea why we left, which is untrue. There was a conversation, there was communication between myself and Biggie predominantly. Back and forth. There was a lot of back and forth. It led to, it escalated to a point where we issued our broadcasting agreements for 2016, which was in a way the icing on the cake. Even had there not been any issues, I
We
would
not have signed the contract.
I would not have
No.
signed it.
We would not have signed those contracts.
No matter how good the relationship, there would have been a huge discussion around that agreement. Anyway, in the agreement itself, it states, which I did post on Facebook, if there is a falling out, in regards to falling out, it said, should there be a falling out between CCN and any broadcaster, resulting in a broadcaster leaving or being removed from the network, both broadcasters and CCN producers agree not to engage in public disparagement, which may be damaging to either party. Well, I feel that's been violated already. However, should any broadcaster be conclusively found to be causing harm or loss, or deliberately misleading the public, or in collusion with the authorities, intelligence agencies, or cults of any kind, CCN is bound by duty and honour to the people who follow the network to lay bare all facts pertaining to any such matter. Now, keeping it purely by this agreement and their own words, in order to put out the public video that's just been put out, the justification for that, then I have to assume, based on this, that they have conclusive evidence of what it states here. Now, that is what should have been presented in the video, is this conclusive evidence. But from everything I can gather, that's not what was presented in the video. It was an hour and 15 minutes of a personal attack on our personal private lives, on people that we are associated with, and on people who had absolutely nothing to do with us leaving the network.
Exactly.
So if you're going to put a video out justifying it by saying that you've got conclusive evidence of certain activities and they're not producing the evidence of certain activities, then what's the point of the video?
Yep.
That's pretty much all I'm going to say about it. I am not going to personally try and defend anything that's been said in it. You can't fight bullshit. I'm not even going to bother trying. I wish Mel and Biggie and CCN all the best. I think it's an important platform and I hope it succeeds. That is the only thing I have said to anybody. I had one of the other broadcasters approach me asking me what the hell happened, and that was my response to them. That I wish them all the best. I said, she asked me if there was anything she should know as a new broadcaster, and I just said, you've got to just watch how this all plays out, use your own discernment, and I wish Mel Biggie and the platform all the best. Now, if that is the smear campaign that I'm apparently participating in, then that's it. I can even publish that conversation if need be.
I'd like to chime in one more time and then I'll be quiet.
Okay.
Because I was present at the secret call that took place on Thanksgiving. I was there for the entire thing, and I never heard either of you say anything out of the way in regards to anyone. That's the other thing that kind of upset me about this whole thing, is that it seems to me that the two of you have taken the high road. You continue to do so in this broadcast. And that's what I guess is a bit disheartening and a bit confusing, because with all of the talk about people changing and all of the things that we have talked about and watched you ladies talk about over the last few weeks, with people all of a sudden just becoming different. It just kind of smacks of that. I've seen the two of you so far in all of this be nothing but matter of fact. I didn't hear any smear, campaigns at all going on last week. I've been on Facebook the whole time. I've read all the comments. There have been a few that perhaps I might not have agreed with myself, but I check our PIN numbers. I love that, Susan. You're great. And I think maybe we should, but I guess the thing I'm saying here is that I didn't hear any smear campaign, and unless I was in a different timeline when that secret call took place, which I'm sorry, I don't feel like it was secret. It was publicized out there for anybody to grab that number and go into. Hell, I could do it. Anybody could do it. But I guess my point is that it just seems to me like you said, there wasn't really anything going on there, and I was there. I was there, so I don't get it. And that's all. I'll be quiet now.
Thank you, Don. That's about as much time as I'm going to spend on the subject. And pretty much all I have to say. So let's move along. And D, you're muted.
Yeah, fuck. You know, I always do that. Okay, go home. All the puppies woke up. So you're about to start hearing lots of yapping very soon. All 7 of them. There's a lot of people who they want the details. They want to know. They want to know the dirt. And I don't play that game. Lisa doesn't play that game. And that's not what we're about. If people are that tied into wanting to know the details of it all, then I don't know, maybe they need to ask themselves why they need to know the details. I don't know. You know, everyone discern for themselves. That's what it comes down to. Even other broadcasters, just discern for yourselves. You don't need anyone else to tell you what to do or what's going on. You don't. That's what it's about. Just use your own tools of discernment, so to speak.
Oh,
and that's it. We're done.
I just think I saw Carl pop up. If I did, hi.
You're looking through to see who's just popped in. We have a whole room full of people.
Yeah, there's 41 people in this room, and so far the quality and everything is working really well. I can hear.
I'm really shocked at how good the quality is.
So everybody has the opportunity. You can all unmute yourselves if you have something to say or have a question, or you can put your hand up in the chat room to let me know that you're going to do that, or that you want to do that, so that we don't end up all talking over each other.
Yeah. Just wanted to say hello, John Carl. I'm the guy that just popped up. I'm your computer guru.
Good to see your face.
Yeah, I was just on doing a show with Carrie Ellis, talking about or showing how to make the Kesh style health pens.
Oh,
so that'll be out.
Okay, I got some questions for you on that one.
Okay.
Oh God, I know I'm getting into trouble just by bringing this up.
I know Dee's probably going to leave on us. She doesn't like this stuff very much.
Dee, I probably won't stay here for long.
I'm going to mute out. That's all. I can sit quietly in the background and just pretend I'm not here. I got to go see if Nick needs a hand with the 7 squealing puppies. I'll be right back anyway.
Ooh, puppies. We like puppies.
Yeah, she just had 7 puppies dumped on her doorstep.
Oh,
yeah, if you want one, I'm seriously, come get a puppy, anyone.
Okay, Carl, Keshi technology. I have questions that are alarming for me. There are some alarm bells that go off about this.
Okay,
and
that's fine.
I have been given a bit of an explanation by a friend of mine who's also working on the plasma generator and things. So I think I understand the concept. My first question, because certainly throughout 2013, there was a lot of conversation that I was involved in and on shows and off shows about iTech, internal tech, that we know what our bodies are really, really capable of.
Yep.
And every cell in our body is plasma coded.
Well, no, every cell in our body is plasma.
There you go. But it's the outer part of the cell is the plasma, right?
No, no, no. Everything is plasma. Everything. It doesn't matter whether it's a cell or the shell of the cell or the mitochondria inside it or an oxygen atom or a glass of water. Everything is plasma. See, plasma is, uh, uh, in my opinion, a lousy description of the absolute fundamental energy that everything is created from. It's as core as you can get.
Okay, so I've got
Every,
the question. Let me ask you the question. The Keshi made a statement a while back. I can't remember when, about being able to put out a frequency that would affect, and I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember the words he used exactly, um, that would end war and hostility because it would actually calm us. It would have an effect on people so they don't feel anger and aggression.
yeah,
Um, that concerns me because
it
that sounds like someone's fucking with my mind or my energy, my own frequency, my emotions.
I understand. I understand, and I can certainly see where that idea comes from. But you have to remember, we're under the mind control now. When the devices come online, it's going to balance the system, which is going to remove the mind control. People who aren't stressed out, who aren't programmed, don't want to hurt anybody.
But there's a
They
difference
want to.
between removing mind control or removing influences and any kind of interference. There's a difference between removing that and allowing a person the space to become in a balance that's purely their own and organic, so to speak, and replacing one set of programming with another. So what are we
Exactly.
really talking about?
We're talking about removing the imbalance that the programming up to now has caused. The plasma energy can't do harm. If you try to use the plasma energy to cause harm, the only thing it's going to harm is the one who's trying to cause harm.
How
You
so?
can't make a plasma wand and give someone cancer. It will reflect back on you because of the law of free will. When these reactors come online, we've got hundreds of them online right now on the planet. When we get rough guess, probably 10 to 20,000 of them online, the Archon disruption that was placed on our fields will be balanced. And we will return back to the original state where we actually have the choices. Because right now, most of us, the vast majority of us, are subject to mind control. We do not have the free will choices that we should have because we're out of balance. And that's all this technology does, is return the balance. Moran, he's an awesome guy, a brilliant man, a very, very smart individual. He's got the best intentions for everyone that works with him, but he doesn't describe things very well because English isn't his first language. And he still thinks in Iranian. And so he doesn't sometimes describe things as well as he should. But the idea that the fields that are emitted by the reactors by the different devices can be used to control another is exactly backwards. The fields that emit balance the other. It takes away the programming and allows you to make open choices with a clear mind once again.
Okay, then my next question is it potentially just another diversion and distraction of creating something yet outside of ourselves that our own bodies are capable of doing?
I wouldn't call it a distraction. I would call it a really big step in the right direction. What I'm learning as I'm using these devices, as I'm building these devices, is that I don't need the device. but it allows me a very concentrated source of this fundamental energy to tap into, that I can remember now how to use it without the device. And I don't see it as a distraction. I see it as a necessary step in the learning process to do this. Anybody and their dog can walk up and hold out their hand and say strawberry and have a strawberry in their hand. Most of us don't recognize the energy to be able to do that. Once we have the energy available to us, whether through a tool or through another showing us telepathically how to do it, we don't know what we're working with. How can I describe this? If you take someone who's lived in Paris all their life and never seen a cow in their life and stick them into the Australian bush, they're not going to have a clue how to feed themselves, where to sleep, what not to walk on, what plants not to touch. Until they're exposed to that environment for some time, they're going to be not able to do anything. They're not even going to be able to live. But you expose them to that environment, you expose them to the energy of that area, and they become familiar with it. They learn how to use it. The plasma is really pretty much the same sort of thing. Once you have a concentrated source close to you that's interacting with you constantly, you begin to recognize where you can use that, where and how to direct that energy. I've got a bottle of GAN sitting up on my cupboard over there, and simply because I programmed that GANs as living life energy, that's the intent that I put into it. My meals, I'm down to maybe 5 meals a week, and I just don't feel hungry anymore, because I'm getting all of my energy, or the vast majority of my energy, from the field that I created within that bottle of GANs. Because it's the fundamental energy of everything. We're living in it. We are it.
If you say that it's a stepping stone towards actually not needing it and moving beyond it and coming back to ourselves, then that's positive for me.
Yeah.
But being a long-term alternative that's still outside of ourselves, that will probably end up costing, may or may not end up costing, or may not end up in the control of others. I mean, certainly the way it's been done right now, it does appear that. Are you saying to me that it really is something that anybody can build at home for $100?
Yes.
And get a working model. There's nothing's been left out. Nothing's been kept secret.
It's ridiculously easy to do. If you look at my camera, I just built this today. It took about 5 minutes. That is one of the healing pens. And, well, they call it a healing pen. They call it a health pen, a health wire. There's a number of different names for it. But what I recognize it as is an intent laser. And whenever I'm teaching people how to build these things, they're really easy to do. It's just a little bit of copper wire wound up, and then you coat it, you process it in a certain way. And what it does is it absorbs the plasma fields from the environment and allows you, through your intent, to modulate that plasma and squirt it out into stuff. The Philippines, the guys in the Philippines are going absolutely bananas with this stuff. They're healing cancers, all kinds of different issues that people are having. I used a simple CO2 pad to heal my dog of something that no one could touch. For a year and a half, nobody could deal with his eczema. I put the CO2 pad on his butt for 3 sessions, about 15 seconds each. His skin is perfect now. His condition is gone. We have got thousands of people who have built these things, who have used them in the right way, in the correct manner, and they're having amazing results with it. And when I teach people how to build these, I tell them right off the bat, this isn't necessarily just for healing. Try it for everything. Try it to communicate with your animals, to direct your intent, as like an intent laser. Try programming a glass of water. Think about the strawberry. Think about the emotion you feel when you taste a perfect strawberry. put that emotion into the energy that's coming out of this pen, and then infuse that into a glass of water. I will bet you dollars to donuts, when you drink that water, you will taste strawberries. If you hand it to somebody else, they will taste strawberries. So it's not a psychosomatic thing. The results we're having with these devices are no less than astounding across the board. And we have energy devices, the reactors, these things. Mine's about halfway done. I'm waiting for somebody to catch up with me, and then we're going to parallel our systems. But there are people who I interact with quite regularly who have them running, and they work. They have it on a meter, and the meter doesn't turn. When the fridge turns on, the meter kind of turns about a quarter turn and then stops again. And everything that they've got attached to it are still running. Their computers, their lights, the fridge, everything works fine. We know from Mexico, we have one report so far, people who were really early at getting this, they got it right away. The fella built the system. I don't know where this comes from. This report comes from the foundation, so I'm quite certain that it's accurate. The individual built the system, put it on his house, conditioned his house. It takes months, sometimes a little longer, depending upon the complexity of the wiring in your house. And his meter was reading zero. His bill was nothing. He wasn't using any electricity from the grid, and his house worked just fine. He told his sister about it, and his sister went, "Cool, I'd like to try this." So he took his system off of his house, took it to his sister's house. His house still operated without using any electricity because it's still connected to his device, just not physically. And then he conditioned his sister's house, and apparently his sister's house is running now, and her power bill is nothing.
I heard that out of China, I think China and Italy, there's factories in both of these places that are supposed to be pumping out 100,000 of these machines a month. Is that accurate?
The factory in Italy is putting out devices. They're being delivered right now. There are still some issues with customs in certain countries, so it's not mass deliveries. We're doing little small groups, 20, 30 here. So if customs decide, if we send, 10,000 units to Bavaria, and customs in Bavaria sees them all, that's a significant chunk of change that's going to have to go somewhere. But if they take 20, then it's not going to hurt so much. So right now we're delivering in small batches to test the waters. Most people are getting their systems who ordered them. All of the pre-orders that everybody said, "Oh, everybody paid and they're not getting nothing." All of the pre-orders, as far as I understand, are all filled. What's coming out now are the new orders that are going through Kevin Bundell and directly from the web store in Italy. The Chinese, which used to be Omega Quantum, they are not associated with the foundation anymore. They went through some legal backhand finaglings and tried to steal the technology and do a bunch of other things from Kesh. So we're not dealing with that.
How can you steal technology that's been put out there open sourced?
Well, I shouldn't use the word technology. They're trying to steal the name and the look.
What is that noise? Ooh.
That ain't from me.
Okay, it's gone.
Anyway, the factory in China isn't working with the foundation anymore. But right now I'm part of the Kesh team, and I'm working with the manufacturers, building a database and getting people who want to build these systems organized, get their information in one place so we can go through it, find the best people, and get them on board for the Kesh brand. If you want to build a device and put it under your own name, by all means do so, but you're not going to get our tech support.
Okay. Well, thank you for that update. I know that
it's not as scary as you guys think it is. It's once you understand how this stuff works, you realize you can't harm with it. There's no way.
The comment that got me into trouble with a friend of mine was basically saying to him, what I've noticed is that the people who start getting involved in the Keshi stuff kind of become Keshi bots. You can't question it. You can't have a conversation around it. They're just like Keshe disciples. And then he responded by losing his shit, being really aggressive, and being a Keshe bot. So I thought, case in point, maybe. I don't know. But you actually were able to very calmly and clearly have a conversation and give some information. So thank you for that.
Well, I encourage people to question it, but I also expect when they do question it to have an open mind, to realize that what they already know may not necessarily be accurate, and be open to an adjustment, because it is the one of the things I have discussions with physicists and scientists all the time about this stuff, and they're always, give me numbers, give me formulas, show me how this works. And I can't, because there are no numbers. And one of the explanations I use is, how do you weigh a glass of water at the bottom of the ocean? We know intuitively, yes, that glass of water has weight, it has mass, there should be a number involved in it, but how do you separate the water inside the glass from the water of its surroundings?
Mm-hmm.
And the plasma is the same way. Everything is plasma in some form or another. And it comes back similar to the third law of thermodynamics. You can't have a system that emits more energy than you put into it. And if you read the rest of the sentence, it says, in a closed system. A closed system doesn't exist. There is nowhere, anywhere, where you can take an atom and remove it from its environment. It's always going to be surrounded by other atoms. So there's no concrete physics that you can apply to the plasma science. It is intuitive physics.
Well, thanks, Carl.
Okay.
That was a nice update. I appreciate it. And we're going to move on to some other subjects.
All right.
But you going to stick around?
Yeah, I'll be around, sure.
Beautiful. DD, I have to disappear for like a minute. So it's all yours.
It's all mine. It's all mine. Ooh. What do you want to talk about, guys? Do you want to talk about the fact that, I know, a couple of little news stories that came out today? Like the fact that the IMF just added the Chinese yuan into the SDR basket today and ranked it higher than both England and Japan? Oh, surprise, surprise. I don't know. That just tickled my fancy today when I saw that finally. I mean, there's been rumors about that for a long time, but that was kind of interesting. But it doesn't take place until like September of 2016. So, like, don't get all excited, RV people, going, ooh, we're going to have a revaluation. September 2016 before that actually happens. We've got some interesting shit coming out of Turkey at the moment. And it was very interesting that yesterday, Zero Hedge published a very, very scathing article about Turkey and the illegal oil trade from that is being illegally shipped from ISIS through Syria and Turkey, from Syria and Iraq through Turkey, and being sold by Erdogan's sons. Yeah. And that article has now disappeared off Zero Hedge, which I thought was really fucking interesting. But yeah, apparently Putin, not too happy. And Erdogan's saying that if Putin has proof, and Putin says he has all the proof, that he will step down as the leader of Turkey. So we got interesting shit going on right now. Even though I'm ignoring the news, I'm really I'm ignoring it.
Yeah. Is this the RT article you're referring to? Or was it? No, Veterans Day.
No. Zero Hedge. Okay, sorry guys. I'm surrounded by crying puppies right now. Do you want to see a puppy? Go. This is Darth Vader. Say hi. Hi. He's all wet and mucky. They just had breakfast, dinner or something, and they're just. Yes, I know. Don't suck on my nose, please. There we go. And if you pee on my shoe again, I'm going to be really upset. Come on, guys. Where is it?
Well, the question was posed that if Putin Putin's now saying that he's got all the evidence that 9/11 was an inside job, so to speak. And the question was posed, well, if that's true, why have you held on to it for like 14 years and gone along with the party line in your early statements after 9/11? If you're really not part of the club, then why haven't you done something about it before now?
Because he had to build up his battlefront. You got to have a strong arm to be able to release that and know that.
Same room with 7 puppies.
No,
Out.
Nick is trying to chase them out from one. This is Chewbacca, by the way. This is Chewbacca.
Oh, Chewbacca.
Yes, you're very noisy. Here we go. Go see Nikki. Nikki's loading them up and putting them back to bed. They've all been fed. They've all peed all over the floor. So now it's time for bed.
So you've got 2 Darth Vader, 2 Star Wars characters. Are they all going to get named Star Wars characters?
No, although there's 2 little black and white ones that are almost identical looking that the girls want to call Luke and Leia. And I've insisted that since we discovered that Darth Vader's a girl, that we really should change her name. Because a girl growing up with the name Darth Vader, I mean, seriously, she's going to have a complex. And Kale is really, really devastated that we told him today that, no, we can't keep all 7 puppies.
Yeah, that's going to be a blow.
Yeah, he was quite devastated. Anyone wants a puppy? They're going cheap in Morocco.
It'll just cost you about $600 to get it out of Morocco.
Yeah, probably more than that.
Now, last week we touched on some stuff in regards to some people here that I know. One of them being Jessie, and Jessie's here. If you'd like to bring him out, say hi, Jessie. Come a bit closer.
Hi, Jessie. Come snuggle muggle.
I'll take this off so that we can share it as a microphone.
You can hold it up as the microphone and just hold on to it there. Hi, Jessie.
Hi, guys. Good morning. Or whatever it is where you guys are.
Good morning, good night, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are.
Happy days.
So this is my partner in crime,
Hey, D.
Danny. D.
Well, I've heard good things.
Oh, and then it's all lies.
Yeah, apparently. Now Jessie's our what do you call you, the soil doctor, and has been working for a long time on gardening, I guess. One way of putting it.
Yeah, natural systems.
It's all yours.
Okay, all right. Well, I suppose the easiest way, because it's quite a large and ridiculous topic, but it can be also simplified down into some pretty basic rules, which I learned in the course of time. So I was a son of a hippie from a place called Nimbin in Australia, where in the 70s they had something called the Aquarius Festival, and my parents had come along to that, and
It was our Woodstock.
yeah, they didn't leave, and they created a little town and tried to be on the forefront of what was alternative, that is becoming more and more mainstream these days. They tried to set up kind of like a utopia to bring up their kids, myself and my brother, and we moved on to a community. It was about 30 kids, about 15 households, and was homeschooling. We shared meals. We all swam together. Big parties where it was like, not just adults, but it was a communal parties where we invited neighbouring communities from around the area, and we all got together that way, and very in touch with nature, I suppose. So that's how I was brought into this world and travelled around the world. And I think it was the defining moment for me was 9/11. I was at the snow at the time on a working holiday, and I wanted to have kids, didn't have any at the time, and kind of asked myself, what do we do if there's no supermarket to go to, or the life as we know it changed? and that can happen like so easily. So I came back to Nimbin and was taken on by a composting master, and I worked with him from early 2002. So just after 9/11, I started that process, and worked for years and years. I had a bit of a composting epiphany, I suppose, where I realised that, you know, humans we're chucking away a lot of our waste, or paying money to chuck our waste away, when in fact, if you deal with it correctly, it is a resource that people are chucking away. They're just not in a mindset to manifest it into a resource. So worked out that, you know, like nature has a lot of the answers that we need to get us through some of our mechanical human problems. And I came up with a system that I call accelerated natural systems, which is just basically following what nature has given us as a template, and I suppose it's speeding those processes up a little bit, and then applying them to our human world. So after I discovered all this stuff from inside myself, really, I started to tell people about it, and I suppose it was a little bit lonely there for a lot of years. My own family would tell me to pipe down because they've heard enough. But you know, I'd found something that I found was my truth, and so far, especially in recent years, the world seems to be tuning itself into something that I was given a long time ago. I became in contact with a group we've set up called Levity Collective. Ben was talking a little bit about that last week. Unfortunately, he's not here. I was hoping my wingman would be sitting beside me and we could actually show you some of this stuff that we've come up with. But it was great to find a family of people that are all trying to achieve similar things in a, you know, all individuals going their own direction, but from a nice place, if you like.
In the chat room, Carl's just mentioned black ether. Is that what you call terra preta?
Black earth. Black earth.
Yeah,
Black Earth.
terra preta. Yep.
That's what he's doing.
I've been making that. I learned to make that I started that process in 2002. We use aquatic weeds. Water hyacinth is one of the best ones, and your charcoal and your powdered basalts, and then your carbon nitrogen ratio in balance. So how I learned this process was to build a home for worms. Build a nice home for worms. Build a home where the worms can explode. Obviously, that doesn't happen straight away because it goes through a heating process, which decimates all your lignin bonds and breaks things down into their basically their base elements. And then the soil making process rebuilds them back into more complex compounds, and that's kind of where the worms come in, and they add all their humic acids, fluvic acids from their gut lining. So then I sat down and watched that documentary on terra preta, which is amazing. But I got a lot more from it than what they said. They said it's just the charcoal, but through my work, I'd discovered it's not just the charcoal, it's also then the biology and the abundance of biology. And that's really important to set up that home for that biology and the worms, that then enables you get this ridiculous results as far as it's the energy levels of what you create. So terra preta, big fan. I just don't think they're telling us everything what we need to know about that. But
of course not.
We're used to
Why would they tell us everything we need to know? The whole.
Go ahead, Dee.
So I was just going to say the whole soil reclamation thing is really, really important right now. And we're just talking in the chat room about the fact of it's becoming a lost art form, because like in North America, everything's going to these mass farms where it's just not being done anymore. Everything's just add more chemical, and the soil is eroded. And oh yeah, here, it's like when I lived in Malta, the old farmers rotated their crops through the farm. They rotated them every year, every season. They rotated, and my ex-husband, his grandfather, who was 92 years old and still working in the fields, would say, no, you never plant the tomatoes the season after the zucchini. Never, because it has the wrong balance. And the soil will have already had all that taken out. So therefore you have to plant I can't remember, like the lettuce has to go in that field that season because it will provide what the soil's already lost. And now that whole area, 20 years later, it's a lost art form already. In 20 years, it's gone. It's like, here's a tomato farm, and that's all they do is tomatoes. And then they have soil depletion. And it's kind of ramping where we've gone.
Tell them that there was a farm, a veggie patch that was put in over here.
Yep.
Was that where you had the most amazing results with your boat?
Yeah, we've had some great results. What I've found, okay, so yes, absolutely, with your crop rotation is really important. Also, what's called the things need to be returned that are taken away. So you can do the same thing year after year, that's fine, but you need to replace what has been taken out to gain your balance. It was something that was started after the Second World War. They called it the Green Revolution, which is kind of ironic, but that was where the chemicals, and that's where your NPK comes from, nitrogen, potassium and phosphorus. That's their key ingredients. That's what they call the chemical building blocks for the processes that is plants growing. They completely ignore your biology and how that accesses it mines the things. Same with your weeds in your paddock or your crops. They're mining the deficiencies. They grow up with that mined in it. They fall on the ground and make it then available to the soil to use. So yeah, absolutely. Crop rotation is huge, and it is a total dying art. But it's also there. Like we've here he is. We've had some great successes because we can build any sort of soil for anything. It's at this stage it's quite costly to do at this stage because it's the waste resources aren't being accessed correctly. If you are paid a gate fee to take people's waste and create them into your resource, then the cost effectiveness comes in. The cost effectiveness really comes in through time, and you're building soil. So if you're building soil, you can get it to a state where you can put anything in and it's going to explode out of the ground. And that's kind of what we want to play with. We want to play with abundance. We're not really here for just getting by. That's an old paradigm. We're
20th century shit.
We want to play with. We can blow this thing out of the park, and especially food production, health, medicine, that sort of stuff. It's important to have even your vibration of that plant has to be it has to be in a health, and if it's in health, it vibrates at a different frequency. Therefore, it can give you that healing frequency.
The question's being asked of, do you send to the US? And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the whole idea is Soil Doctor would act as a consultant and come to you and show you how to do it where you are. In the resources that you have.
Yeah, we like to do management plans for people. So everyone's situation is different. Everyone's requirements are different. Everyone's budget is different. So if you can tap into what is already available there for people. You've got to get really clearly what they want to achieve and then what their budget is, because if they don't have any money, that's fine. It just takes more time. If you've got money, you can speed up the process. It's pretty simple. As far as sending soil all over the place, it costs a fortune to make at this stage. It's about $100 a cubic meter just to make. Therefore, it's really hard. That's buying in everything. That's if there's waste streams there, it brings that right down. But when you're competing in a market, people think they're buying soil, and they can go to their local shop and buy it for, I don't know, $10-20 a cubic meter or whatever it is, $50 a cubic meter. So we tried to then change the people's mindset with this, and instead of selling it as soil or a potting mix or anything, we would sell it as the base ingredient for compost tea. So you could grab the biology from the soil, brew it up through a bubbling process, and you're adding food to it, and you're bringing the biology out and getting that to basically like a crescendo level where it's going off, and then you spray that out. That was effective, and we were selling it at $3 a litre, which ends up, if someone wants to buy a cubic metre, it's $3,000. So that's really unattainable for people. We would heaps prefer to teach people how to do it. Since then, we've come... Sorry?
Teach them how to fish. Don't just give them a fish. Don't sell them a fish. You got to teach them how to fish for themselves.
Especially expensive fish.
We've got a raised hand with a comment or question too. Go for it, Carl.
I just wanted to mention the folks in Peru, Dave Stewart with the MIP project. His website is xi4.com. They're teaching the locals down there how to reproduce the soil from Machu Picchu at virtually no cost. These people are dirt poor, and even Dave, he's working on a couple of $1,000s a year, and they're having amazing results down there. It might be useful for you to liaise with them and find out how some of their processes work that you could implement in your system and reduce your costs.
Yep, sure.
Absolutely. And JK, make sure you drop me that link in Skype, because I can't copy anything out of this chat in here.
You don't have a saved chat? Oh, you just to copy, you got to use your keyboard.
Yeah, I know. Mine doesn't want to work.
Or save the chat, but it works. I put the XI4 in your Skype.
Okay, thanks, hon.
I'll send it to you later.
Okay.
So
well, it's really interesting. Sorry, I was just going to say, living on the edge of the Sahara, I talked a little bit about this last week, and they're reclaiming the Sahara. There was a whole project going on, and it's still going on now. Nick was just talking about it, to reclaim, because, of course, the Sahara inches up into the land, and they're reclaiming it, and they brought specialists in from all over the world to rebalance the soil, to say, okay, well, you need to have it needs more nitrogen, it needs more of this, it needs this, and you've got to plant these trees here, but you have to have these ones here to keep it and to feed the soil continuously. So there's a huge project going on in Morocco right now to reclaim the land that the Sahara is taking back.
And to answer the question from Sheila, we're working on that, on creating a platform, and Jesse doesn't know it yet, but I'm going to hit him up with an idea after we get off. So yeah, working on it. But this has evolved into so many other things. Like you said, water treatment, sewage treatment, terra prieta.
I'll just tell you a quick little story. So we got approached by a lady that had connections in Ghana, and they were she come to us with this problem that apparently, this is just her story, that Ghana was piping their raw sewage straight into the ocean and creating a devastation sequence, if you like, in the ocean with all their raw sewage. And she said, she come to us and said, okay, can you see any solutions to this problem? Okay, so we went away and we put it together, and we worked out, okay, we can make electricity. We can biodigest the sewage. We can solid separate first and make it into two streams. So water stream, poo stream, if you like. we put that through a biodigester and create methane and sludge.
Yep.
The sludge we can compost and using the Ondore stack, which is a type of composting that Sir Albert Howard exposed. It's from India. They've been doing it for centuries, I'd imagine, but a long time. And it's a process of really hot windrow composting, so that can decimate all your if people are on antibiotics or your toxins, your hookworms, a lot of the problems that are associated with sewage, and then making that sewage into soil, and then making that soil into a resource that we can use, say, for food production.
The Sahara.
We're interesting you brought up the Sahara point, because our idea was to make soil out of the sludge or leftovers from the biodigestion, to burn the methane that's created and create electricity. When you burn methane, you end up with water and CO2. So the idea was to make some large greenhouses and use the soil for the greenhouses, but also then pump the CO2 into the greenhouses, so you're not adding to the climate or whatever. Anyway, it's a way of harvesting the CO2. The water then goes through the filtration process, so you can basically make it drinkable again, although that's a bit of a taboo subject. But we're looking at the desert. There's desert not far away. Okay, we can use the soil and we can use the water, and we can start reclaiming the desert. Exactly what you had just said. So that was.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Have you guys looked at? I'm going to bring this up just because we're talking about basically multifunction. How you come up with this? You've got a problem, but you don't just take one piece of it and say, okay, we can do this. You actually. So we can do this, and we can do this, and then we can do this, and creating a whole cycle. So Nick, help me. What are they called? The
permaculture.
The cookers. Pyrolysis systems.
Okay.
Pyrolysis waste to energy systems, or waste. Well, even just saying the waste to energy systems, they take all that garbage, and they can do it even with sewage as well. They cook it down, they create char, which then they resell, because char is so pure.
That as well, darling.
Oh, well, guys, we're going to talk because I have huge connections in that area too.
We've got the design.
Yep, sure. Actually, I want to just free source it and post our idea up onto the Levity Collective website so people can have a look at it. I'm not really concerned if anyone takes the idea and uses it and doesn't reference us. That's cool, because our job's done and we didn't have to do anything. But we're more than happy to have a chat about the different problems that can come up with in that scenario. But it's not a perfect scenario. It's just a step towards where I feel we need to be. We're well beyond the Romans just pulling in a little bit of water and letting it go out into the ocean. I think that we need to pull ourselves out of the caveman mentality and start working with nature. Come on, guys. Yep. Nature's got all the answers there for us. It's so easy. All you got to do is open your eyes up and just stop thinking that we know. It. Yeah, I'm just ready.
You have to unfuck it up, man. You got to unfuck it up. Exactly. Thank you, Sheila.
And stop pretending we know everything. There's some answers out there that are so simple, and because we think we know everything, we're just shooting straight past them.
Yep. I so agree.
Yeah.
I so agree. Oh, we have so much to talk about. It's going to be so much fun.
That's what it's all about, having some fun.
Exactly. It's all fun.
Absolutely.
Working on a lot of these projects, being involved with some of these people is, around the community aspect of things. These are the areas that Dee and I want to move into and, expand into, which has played a part in some of our recent decisions. So there's a lot that we hope to have ready before January, to launch come January, and covering a wide variety of solutions of unfucking, basically. um,
Yeah.
from health and healing, from community, gardening, food production, everything that we need to sustain ourselves, to also the law and how to get out of the system and everything. So
Financial fuckery and all that shit.
yes, I'm fucking all that is fucked.
Yes, and that means everything.
You're a waste
Tee-hee.
of killed the
Yeah, I
girl.
was just reading that. So Cindy's posted about a bunch of ground along the. Okay, you can all see it. In Denver.
Well, not the audience that will later.
Okay.
So we're reading it for them. So there's ground along the Front Range outside of Denver, where they used human waste from Denver, and it killed the ground. Big lawsuits because people lost their livelihoods.
So what has happened there from only just those couple of sentences that I can see is they've set up a devastation sequence. So they don't think they would have applied composting technology. Like there's steps, and you cannot just spray poo out and think that it's going to work. It's called a devastation sequence. It's in nature. It's where your weeds come up. If you got a lot of weeds, it's like when a big tree falls over in the rainforest. What generally happens is weeds and vines go crazy. It's a devastation sequence. There's too much light hitting the ground. The rainforest way of dealing with that is pump out heaps of weeds and vines and then allow the trees to come through. So it restores the natural equilibrium through a devastation sequence. And they've just set that up without the sequence being... they don't even understand what the devastation sequence is. So if you understand it, you can do it. Not a best idea. You don't want to start
unless they do and know exactly what they were doing and it was intentional.
Well, yeah.
Of course, it's got lots of NPK. It's got lots of nutrients in it that can be accessed, but it has to be accessed through the proper natural sequence of events. That's where accelerated natural systems comes into play, because you grab what is already we can do, we speed it up, and we then apply it. That way, nature is in harmony. It's in harmony with nature, the process. And that's really important. We can't go out there thinking, oh, yeah, who's fertilizer? Let's just spray it around. If you put through a biodigestion process first, it's a lot better because it has then biology connected with it. But I would still never recommend spraying it straight out into the paddock. I don't know if that's what has happened, but just through what I've seen of a couple of sentences, I'd imagine that's what they did, and that's just stupid. Anyway, sorry.
But devastation systems is what we have all over the planet.
Absolutely.
In mining.
Yeah.
In what people don't realize, good old-fashioned reduce, reuse, recycle. Every recycling plant on the world, recycled paper was one of the most toxic things on the face of the planet. The sluice ponds that come from a paper recycling plant are toxic for hundreds of years, and they have no concept other than cooking them, which is one of the systems that my dad was working on. Other than cooking it in one of these pyrolysis systems, that sluice pond is forever toxic. It's a devastation system. They have no solution for it that they will look at because, I'm sorry, they don't want the solution. Right? So they leave these, and this is one of the things that we're kind of, it's kind of our generation is we're kind of in the place now where we kind of need to go around behind them and go, no, okay, we got to clean up this fucking mess. And we've got to do it naturally. And we've got to do it, like you said, I love what you're talking about. It's just awesome.
Yeah, you gotta take
Okay, so I've got a couple of posts here. One's about they're selling human waste-based fertilizer in the States. It's called
Milorganite, I'd say.
Milorganite, okay. It says not to put it near food crops. So that's sensible depending on their processing. There's that old story that we're drinking dinosaur piss. So in nature, there is the right methodology to get it back to the way, we see it as normal. It's just our mindsets that get in the way of that. Another post is that someone's read lately that fish waste is a much safer, more than mammal waste. There's no salmonella in fish waste. I don't believe that. I think again that the composting process has not been put in place properly, because any sort of waste can have salmonella. But if it's put through the right process, salmonella is not an issue. It gets eaten by higher order spectrum of biology. It's food.
Yeah.
If you allow that system to be set up correctly. Same with all your like your mind blank, hospital waste.
That happens a lot already.
For instance. So
Yeah.
you've got people on antibiotics, which are not good to go back into the system. But if they're composted correctly, they go back into their base elements, they're rebuilt back into more complicated compounds and become food. They are not the way they started. They are completely decimated and rebuilt into something brand new. So if we are in a state where we cannot deal with our own waste, we're in a lot of trouble. But the thing is, it's easy, but there has to be some really strict rules that had to be adhered to, and they're all in nature. They're all sitting there waiting for us just to follow. Or there's some great people out there that know exactly this scenario, and they've written amazing books. My first book I got into this was Sir Albert Howard, and it's nearly a Bible to me, the book he wrote about the agricultural testament, and it's gorgeous. And he went to India to teach the Indians how to chemically farm, basically, and instead of teaching them, he ended up observing the system that they had in place, and he wrote a book out of it, and he became knighted for it. So he must know what he's talking about. And he came up with the two things. So this is hilarious. He came up with sanitary engineering, which is how to make our poo so it doesn't give people diseases. Sanitary engineering.
Yep.
The organic standards are written off sanitary engineering. They missed something. Well, it doesn't matter. The other one is humus production, and that's what we focus on. So humus production is the decimation and the rebuilding, and the energetics that you can pump into stuff at that level, and then the follow-on effect of that. So that's what I believe in. I think it's hilarious that the organic standards would be written off sanitary engineering. So I can get any sort of waste stream. I can heat it up for 50 degrees for 3 days. It's organically certified. Like that. I'm pretty sure that's the truth. Doesn't make any sense to me, not from what I've been taught. For me to make soil, it started off, it's a 3-month process, and we're looking at temperatures around 70 degrees for about 4 to 6 weeks. So you can cook your dinner in there, like it's hot, and in that heat it decimates everything, but all the lignin bonds are gone. It's elemental then, and rebuilt back into stuff. So I keep repeating that, but it's really important. That's what nature does.
Don't even get me started about the use of the word organic.
Cook poo. Yum. Sorry, I'm getting distracted between what people are writing what I'm trying to say.
Trust me, it gets real interesting on these shows sometimes. The chat room goes off on a tangent. Next thing you know, you're like, wait, what are we talking about?
Their own conversation, their own show.
So, my how I learned about this is I got up to my elbows in poo. That's how I learned. I didn't read any books. That books didn't teach me anything. Afterwards, I did my studies, and you learn about all the silicates and nematodes and protozoa and all that sort of stuff, which completely foreign to me. All I did was set up a nice place for worms, and if the worms are there, they're the higher order. So everything else below them is there too, and I found that out later. So that was cool. But yes, we can cook poo, and it doesn't even smell the way we do it. It's if there's smell there, it means your carbon-nitrogen ratio is out of balance. Too much nitrogen. Need more carbon. All the indicators, your nose knows. So I compost with my nose. If it smells, I'll change the formula around until it doesn't smell. It should be pleasant the whole way through. And the end product should be very similar to when you go into the rainforest. You scrape back some leaves, you pick up some of that gorgeous soil, have a smell. Because that is where you want to get to. If you can get to that place, you're kicking goals. Class. But anyway, look, for me, it's just fun. I love playing with this stuff. I love being surrounded by gorgeous people that all have their amazing talents, but we're all connected. We're all connected by, I don't know, all sorts of things. But this is a nice platform to be in.
We're all connected by poo.
Well, we all do it.
We all have that in common, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shit and stuff, yeah.
That's how we deal with it.
Dinosaur piss. Don't forget the dinosaur piss.
Yeah, we get dinosaur pee, yeah, for sure.
So that's my introduction to Jessie and some of the work that he's doing, and yeah, giving him the right platforms and the right avenues to be able to get the information out there and start teaching people is what I'm kind of working on. So he just doesn't know it yet.
But and quickly, there was some comments about doing classes or webinars, whatever. That will become available through the Levity Collective, what we've been working on.
I've got other plans for you.
Okay, other plans. All right,
I told you I haven't spoken to you yet about
so
it.
we lost.
Everything's been changed while you were gone. I don't know. Have you told Ben yet? I'm not sure.
It's all been just arrived. He's sitting beside us, so all good. Yeah, he's listening. He knows now, dude.
Guess what, Ben? Got a new plan.
I was born for new plans.
Awesome.
Change is as good as a holiday. I love holidays.
Yep.
All right, nice to talk with all you guys. If there's any questions, I'm happy to come back on. If you can think of something down the track, post it. I'm happy to get on at any stage. Generally, as I said, for people, situations are all different. You need us to do a site assessment for what's available to bring the cost down. We need to see what's in the area that is cheap or free, or people will pay you to take. Boom, there's a great start. And then work from there. And then also all the soils are different, all the environments are different, and how then you can play out what is needed. And requirements are different. So we can do anything at any time with any scenario. It's just then the budget will have to change. But whatever, I don't care about the money. But it's what other people want to spend on their stuff and how much time they have. And we can do anything. That's fun.
Jess would love for Colorado. There's free poo everywhere.
And a lot of bullshit.
I got a bullshit filter. It's fine.
Mine's finally tuned these days.
Nice to meet you guys. I'm going to take my kids to the pool, and we'll speak soon. Have a great day or night, whatever.
We'll talk to you later.
Yep.
Thanks, Don.
Thank you.
Okay, so there's your daily poo update. Like you needed one. So, I mean, I really have seen some amazing stuff. What they've done with, gardens and the amount of food that can be produced. These guys know what they're doing.
Well, you know what? This is the other things I kind of want to talk on, because a lot of people, when they think gardening, they think they've got to have an acre of land. They can't, and there's so many ways to grow your own produce in an apartment.
Yeah, no.
In a house, there's so many ways, and there's someone posted something. Oh, I think I've got the link. It was a whole series of photos on Facebook, and it was just, I think it was like 35 photos in it, and I posted it on Facebook a few days ago. And it was things like how to grow, and it was like all these amazing ideas of basically like potatoes in a bucket and how to grow, and they had them as like hanging plants, and they're beautiful because potato plants, like the leaves, they're beautiful. It looks like this beautiful lush hanging plant hanging on the balcony, and it's full of potatoes.
My girlfriend BJ has actually been working on a book that she's going to try and put together over the Christmas holidays to be released, but she does things like that. She goes into these small spaces, apartments, or down the sides of buildings, just between the fence and it's just that little piece of dead space that may or may not even get much sun. And she works in those areas. Yeah. And it ends up with more food than she knows what to do with.
Yep.
So she's going to put together something like that, and like the no dig garden for, that you can just put out on your balcony. They're all kinds of things. She's very,
I,
very earthy.
I had a friend of mine who lived in downtown Toronto, and if you're from, if you know downtown, the old areas of downtown Toronto, the backyards of houses are literally the size of a matchbox. Like they're just minuscule because they're all got the big high fences, and I think her backyard was maybe 12 foot across, and really big old trees, limited light, and she put hanging gardens down. She had this long, stupidly narrow backyard, and she took, you know, the old shoe racks that used to for traveling, and they were just like a hung on a hanger, and they were just little pockets for your shoes to go in. She put those down all one wall. She grew beans, peas, tomatoes, strawberries, and just hung them on the wall. And then she was like, at the end of the year, she just took it and she dumped out the soil and she kind of mixed it all up back together again and let it sit over the year. And then the next summer, she dug it back out and refilled all her pouches. And this was like, it's so easy if you're inventive. So anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. I mean, how I was growing stalks of celery on our balcony, and we have zero sunlight on our balcony, and we had stalks of celery growing quite nicely.
Oh, wooden pallets up on the wall, yeah, to grow things.
Yeah.
That's too. Vertical gardening. I love vertical gardening. It's awesome. They look great.
Oh, the vertical gardens look beautiful too. But I've even seen them done in kitchens, where people, the water bottles, and as Nick was saying, we had a whole idea for a garden of you just take water bottles, cut the bottom off them, hang them with the spout on the bottom, put a nice rock to chunk it off, and then you could literally just put a board from an old pallet and use a screw and just go bzz, bzz, and just screw them up, and you've got like a whole line of water bottle garden. And the same type of thing. It's all stuff that you probably even got sitting around in your house.
Yeah.
You know? Well, I personally am going to have a live kitchen wall. That's what I talked to, oh God, his name's gone right in my head, Claudius, who was like a master yurt builder. And we got chatting just before we went back to Morocco back in 2014, and he was talking about he was building yurts that had living walls. And in the kitchen, him and I got into this whole conversation. You could have the kitchen where the living wall could have all your herbs.
Yeah.
All your herbs growing along the kitchen wall, and you just, we need a little parsley, and we'll take some basil and some rosemary, and just your lettuce and your spinach that grows so damn fast anyways, it's just right there.
It's all doable. We do have all the solutions to all the problems. It's just, we just need to decide that we're going to utilize them, I think.
Yep.
And organize ourselves.
Yes.
So that's the process we're in right now.
So
Yeah.
where's Ben?
He's just inside talking to Jessie right now, but I can certainly give him a hoy if you'd like him.
Oi! You! Get over here.
Oi! Oi! I'll go get him in a sec.
No, that's no problem.
I wanted to know just this feels fun. This feels cute. It's like our live studio audience.
I know, it's awesome.
Yeah. If they had any questions on or subjects they wanted to cover off or anything like that, stuff that's caught their attention lately in the news, any of that stuff.
Shout it out. Or raise your hand.
Yeah. Speak now. While I go and get Ben. You sure you want me to get Ben? Because once he starts, he doesn't stop. Oh, CERN.
Yeah. Okay, guys, CERN did not blow up. I'm sorry, please. Now, the big news on CERN is on November 25th at around 5:17 in the evening GMT time, they hit a new high, and it's kind of like a scary high. They collided particles at 1,045 TeV. Now, up till that point, they've been crashing particles at 13 TeV. So they went from 13 TeV with protons to now lead ions, and they're crashing them at 1,045 TeV. Yeah, Kingdom of Hawaii, actually, Crystal, I don't know what was going on. I saw it spin by. But yeah, Hawaii's been in the news a lot lately, and it's all kind of like they're just touching on little stories, but they're in the news a lot. And that tells me there's some shit is starting to break ground there. I haven't even looked at CERN today. Actually, here, well, what? Chat amongst yourself for a second. I'm going to pull up CERN. Just take a quick look.
Can you, Dawn, can you elaborate on what you mean by experiencing glitters in the Matrix in 48 hours? Honestly, the last week has been very glitchy.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah. A lot of movement in your room, literally when you're trying to sleep, I think is what you mean. That's interesting.
Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I look terrible. I have no makeup on.
Join the club.
Yeah. So, you know, it's just something that like last night, it was really profound. I was laying there, and granted, I sleep with a bunch of animals around me. But I would open my eyes, catch things happening at different parts of the room, and it would, you know, because it'll draw you. You see it, and it was happening, and I thought to myself, you know, either there's something happening with the energy, or I've got something maybe walking in my room. I don't really know, but I didn't really feel like it was a bad thing. I just felt like it was just glitches in the screen. That's kind of how I felt about it. Has anybody else felt that or seen that? I mean, so
I'm getting that on a daily basis now, 15, 20 times a day.
okay.
Little shadows in the corner of my eyes. I'll be looking at the monitor and I'll see something move on the counter and I'll glance over to it and it's not there.
Yeah.
It's been going on for me for years, but it's really ramped up in the last couple of weeks.
Yes. So I'm not going crazy. That's great.
No, you're not. And I even talked about it on one of the Collective Imagination shows, I think, weeks ago. But it's all every now and then getting this moment where it feels like I'm looking through 3D glasses. You know, and even where the colours get weird, the reds and blues come out, and it all looks a little bit, what the hell? To use these words, I got slammed yesterday energetically. That feeling of being touched when there's nothing there to touch you.
Yes.
We've also talked about that. It's anything from like feeling like you've got an insect crawling on you to a loose hair to literally just being touched by someone and there's nothing there.
Yeah. You get this weird tingly feeling there. It's almost like a meeting of energies. You go, ooh, and your hair stands up. It's kind of strange.
Yep.
Yeah,
No, I've had
what's going on?
Yeah. I've lost count of how many times, same thing where you go, I just saw something go over there. How many times? Yesterday, I got up twice to count puppies because I swore something went moving across the floor, and I'd go look, and there'd be all 7 of them curled up in their box sleeping. I go, okay, well, the kids are outside, the dog's outside, there's no one in here but me, so what just went, and it's out of the peripheral vision, or just all of a sudden it's like everything goes completely out of focus. And that happened to me twice yesterday, where I was sitting looking out over the fields, and literally my eyes went so completely out of focus that it was like you go blink, 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 and go, okay, is that my eyes, or did the whole screen resolution just drop to just about fucking 0?
Yeah.
And the images, the footage that are coming out over the last week or so of the 2 moons, they're glitchy with the moons. You can see stuff behind the moon. There's all sorts of stuff going on with the moon. They look like you are looking at a holodeck screen that is glitching out. That's exactly what that looks like. Do we take it as face value if that's what it is? I don't know. But there are it's just strange things in the sky that honestly do look like the program's got a virus.
Yep. Yes, Rob, do tell us. Rob just put in the chat, me and my brother have a ghost hunting crew. You would be surprised how our equipment picks up on these anomalies. Yes, please do tell us more.
Yes.
Inquiring minds want to know.
But it's not just a black sort of shape. It's the shape of a person. It's like it's a person walks past.
Yep.
Yeah, Rob, come on out. Unmute yourself, though.
Yeah, the shadow persons. Yeah, we've seen those for a lot. Nick sees them more than I do. Nick sees them like multiple times a day.
You hear me?
Yeah,
Hey, there he is. Hey, Rob.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, shadow people. That's what you're seeing. That's what we, us ghost hunting people call those, is shadow people, and that's actually somebody. Like you want to talk about past lives and all that stuff? You actually don't have past lives. You're living all your lives simultaneously. That could be actually you.
You mean I'm in more than one holodeck at the same time?
Huh?
I'm in more than one holodeck at the same time.
Exactly. I think that we have to bring all of ourselves into one. That's just my thought.
I've had that thought rambling around in my head for a long time.
Yeah, we've talked about that with the whole timeline collapsing thing. It feels like we're merging with other aspects of ourselves, and we're assimilating. Like there's a primary us that's assimilating all of the others.
I think so too.
Hmm.
So like
That's kind of interesting, though. The idea of like the shadows are just, like you said, could almost be ourselves, just in just another timeline instead of sitting here and walking to the bathroom, and that's why you see that shadow going by.
Like our EMF detectors, it picks up on those glitches when it bounces back and forth and our EMF goes up. Those are glitches, because if you don't have any electricity in your place that you're running or you're searching, and you get these glitches, that's what me and him's been calling them, glitches. Like we have a what's called what the heck did we just get?
Melman?
No. Anyway, this machine, it's called a ghost machine, but it runs frequencies, AM and FM radio frequencies. You can run them forward or you can run them backwards, and you can ask questions, and it gives you answers. It'll come up, and then you'll get like 1 or 2, 3 word answers. And if you're running stuff backwards and it's telling you answer forwards, then here's your answer. And it's just picking up on these glitches, I'm telling you. Everything is running simultaneously at the same time. That's what I believe.
Oh, yeah, we've discussed that before, haven't we, Lisa? That it's not necessarily that we're looping forward as in we do a loop and then we do another loop and then no, because all time is not linear. And I think Rob, you can be very right that it's like all of them are happening all now.
Yeah.
You're describing a DNA helix.
What's that loop you made, the infinity loop? What's that called again?
The Mobius strip.
Yeah, the Mobius strip. That's exactly what I think it is.
Yep. The Mobius strip. I love the Mobius strip. Hey, Lisa, we're talking about the Mobius strip again.
No. And Susan just made a comment, and I have to agree. That's why there's so much confusion in personal relationships. We're interacting with different versions of ourselves all the time. So that's I had a conversation with you, but that's not you now, and now we're having a different conversation. And what?
Yep.
And so my question then is does anybody think that might have something to do with the Mandela effect? Because I'm beginning to think that might be the case.
Yes, very much so. I think it's all related. So
yep, I think it has to be.
Timelines collapsing, or realities. They're not actual timelines. They're
no dimensions.
Yes, that are happening simultaneously. Then they're closing out, collapsing, and merging. I think it's all.
Could be what they refer to when they talk about the veil coming down. You think maybe?
Sorry, can you say that one again?
I said, do you think it might have something to do with what they talk about the veil coming down? Maybe.
Yeah, I think that's a spiritual term for what we're seeing.
Yeah. Why not? I mean, we are seeing, right? The veil covers your eyes, and now we're starting to see shit. So whether you want to call it the veil or you want to call it everything collapsing. It's all becoming visible, regardless.
I'll be right back. There's a bit of a hiss on.
Yeah, you got some serious hiss going on. Yeah, I find that whole topic really, really interesting. And Rob, thank you for bringing that up, because that came back to me again yesterday. Something happened. I can't even remember what it was now. Like, this is just the same thing. It's just going on. It's over and over, not over and over as in a linear, is it today, tomorrow, the next day. It's like Groundhog Day happening all at the same time.
Yes.
And you know what? It's really funny because my kids, again, they've been watching Star Trek The Next Generation, which, of course, it's old hat. None of us have probably even watched an episode in 10 years. And Stargate SG-1. And within a day of each other, they watched an episode of each that had to deal with, dimensions where there were time loops. And in each of them, they were just repeating the same thing. And each time they would come out of it, and it was like they didn't actually remember, obviously, because it was the same day over again. And I just found it really, really humorous. My kids this week watched 2 episodes and 2 different shows, both of them dealing with time loops. I'm like, yeah, I got the message. Thanks, guys. Okay. Can we move on now? No more looping, please. No more looping.
Okay, I'm back. Ben's going to join us in a second.
Awesome.
So if any of you had any questions or anything you wanted to talk to him about from last week.
One first question for you.
Yes.
Where is the primary person then? If we're all that's like, if we're all trying to run it at the same time, which one is the one? Which one of you is the you?
Well, we are, obviously.
I actually think that might change depending on the moment. Right?
Yeah, that could be that.
I think it's perhaps whichever one in any given moment where how do I put this? Just to use the language, if we are dealing with a lot of different timelines or different realities happening simultaneously, and they're closing out or shutting down or being integrated, then whichever one in that moment is carrying or operating or whatever the word is at the highest frequency will be the one that one is pulled to or attracted to. And that can change from moment to moment. There's something in that.
Can I throw a theory in here?
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to watch Sense8 yet?
Yeah.
And how in the moment, whoever needs the help, yes, hello, Ben, how are you doing, darling?
I'm listening.
In the moment, you can't hear.
Hang on. I'm sorry, I'll fix it.
Microphone. I can't take the piss if he can't hear me.
Oh my God, Jenny, I just have to thank you for seeing Sense8. Oh, wow, what a trip that show is.
Well, how about this? If we talk about who the prime is and the prime changes in that show, especially when you get to the end of the first season, when they're onto it now, whoever has the skill set, we'll say, to deal with that moment, jumps in, whether it's the karate kung fu or the smooth Spanish, gigolo actor or the scientist, jumps in that moment. So, I mean, could that be part of it too, as we're, if you want to say fractals are coming in every moment, it's the fractal most geared to dealing with that situation that maybe appears?
Yeah, right. Okay.
That was kind of funky. That just came out of nowhere. I'll go sit in the corner again.
Okay, comment in the chat room regarding every comment, yeah. Regarding different timelines. Last time I was listening to Collective Imagination, I posted what I felt was a relevant comment in the chat, and it was like no one seemed to notice it, nor was there any response. Then I walked away for just a couple of minutes. When I came back, it was like a much longer period of time had elapsed on the show that I returned to, and that they'd already finished the meditation, which did not coincide with my timeline, where I had just left which I had just momentarily left. Furthermore, when I looked at the chat, the comment I had posted was gone, even though I know I had written and sent it and saw it, posted in the chat of the original timeline where I'd started. Interesting, because we don't delete anything out of the chat room either.
Epic.
Well, so it can happen in a matter of moments. Okay,
Well, you know what?
Chris, hang on. What if we have things the wrong way around? When we are asleep, we are in the real realm, and then when we come down into these avatars, the other half the time, I know.
Yeah, I know. Oh, trust me, I fucking know.
Played with that theory for a while.
Yep. I had it happen 3 separate times today. I was trying to respond in the Unfuckers group on Facebook. I typed it in. I hit enter. I saw it appear. And then you went back to go see something and it was gone. So I typed it in again and I hit enter and I saw it appear 3 separate times and then the comment disappeared every time. And then something happened and I blew my top, which you all probably witnessed. And then I could post my comment. So I was like, oh. But someone else had posted something. While I was struggling to try and post the stupid comment, someone else came in and posted something that was very visible, very transparent. And then I was like, oh, well, I don't even need to make my comment anymore. Thanks. That was kind of funky.
Okay. Maybe it was Facebook looking out for you.
Facebook was looking out for me. Oh, gee, thanks.
Identity mapping. Happy birthday.
It could be the lack of sleep.
Okay, so we've got him back. If anybody has any questions or conversation they want to have in regards to what was brought up last week or go into any other areas.
I'm just digging the comments because I think it's all of those things at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, you're not necessarily wrong, right? I mean, literally. I mean, this is one of my things that I keep going into is the whole the secret space program, but then you have other stuff that says that they could all be happening at the same time. They could be.
And are, because people are experiencing them. So your experiences, you know, whether they're 3D or not, if there's been a chemical reaction that's made you go through that, you've experienced it. It's integrated within you.
Nice. I don't want to experience this bullshit anymore.
Rob's just said our primary's sleeping somewhere in a vat. A la Matrix movie. I'd hate to think so.
I'd be all pruny and shit. Skincare.
Yeah, what's currently transpiring is definitely getting boring. You know, it's definitely getting boring. There's way more fun things that we could be doing if there weren't so many firewalls up, let's say.
All week this week. Now, when I did Transpicuous News on Sunday, I literally, out of the blue, was like decided from the beginning of the show to the end of the show, like, yeah, you know what? I need a break. And then, of course, Monday happened and Tuesday. And that kind of, you know, and I literally have hardly looked at the news at all this week. And I've kind of made it, like, I'm not going to my usual sites. Tom, I know you keep posting the links, and I'm just ignoring them. I'm sorry. But I will go back at some point and read them. And I've been taking this break, and you know, there's this whole thing of like, I've got better things to do. I'm so bored. Relevant. I'm so fucking bored. I don't care that Putin is going to rip Erdogan's nuts off and shove them up his nose. I don't care. The Chinese yuan is now in the SDR basket, or was about to be, and has jumped ahead of China and Japan in percentage points. I don't care. I just don't fucking care. I'm bored. I really don't want to do this anymore. I'd rather be, you know, digging gardens. Really. I'd rather be fucking digging gardens. I'd rather be growing food or fucking anything but this.
See, but then at the same time, we have to be grateful that all that crap has got us to this frame of mind and not sitting in that old paradigm. So it has its purpose, and now it's like we should be empowered enough to just be like, right, you know what, fuck it.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
We are unfuckwithable. and we're gonna fix this fucking shit up.
You know what? 2 new t-shirts. Unfuck with them all. That's going out. Did you show them the t-shirts? Or you haven't seen them? I did your community common unity. I put up as a t-shirt. It looks really sharp.
Oh, yeah. So if you don't know, there's a whole bunch of new t-shirts in the t-shirt store.
Danny went on a rampage this week because it was like, fuck this, I'm going to be creative.
Yeah, Daddy's had some fun. But yeah, common unity is in there. Oh, so Dawn's got 4 shirts now. Yeah, wow. That's awesome. Playing in nature, yeah.
Well, we are playing in nature. Can we turn the camera?
Hey,
Have they seen that?
No, they haven't. Would you like to give them a tour?
This is where we're sitting.
Okay, show us your nature. Oh, I know. And there's the chickens. I think it's chicken.
Yep, it's a chicken. So that's what we're looking at over and behind you guys.
I'm wearing a turtleneck and I'm cold. I just want to say that.
The chicken's looking for some shade.
Yeah.
The chicken's like, give me some shade.
Just
and
to
some
put
corn.
it in perspective.
Oh, any update on sleuthing Treasury Direct? I don't think so.
No, but I'm going to make some phone calls this week.
Awesome. Yeah, it's just one of those little avenues to take a peek at.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Oh, you got to ask the questions. If they don't answer them, that's not my problem.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
When they appear like that and they reappear for me, I always say, okay, if they've reappeared again, it's time to take another look at it, right?
Yeah, totally. And like we sort of said last week, there are back doors to all of this. There are back doors to the whole thing, which not only makes them legal in their realm, but it makes it lawful and honourable in ours. So, they're there. It's like we said, it's just finalising those few bits of the puzzle, the pieces, and then, get down to business.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Well, guys, it's time to kind of wrap it up, actually. We've been up there for two hours now. Yeah, everybody wants to come to Australia, I think.
Yeah, cool. We're sorting it out.
We will find our cult location.
Oh, whoa. We don't throw that shit around. No,
it's a joke. It's a piss
Collective.
You've missed all. I'm sorry, you just
You've missed an entire week. We'll catch you up in a minute.
Liberty looks like a bit of a cult.
Oh, apparently everyone turns into a cult.
It's all right.
So, thank you guys for being a live studio audience.
This was a lot of fun.
Snakes and I'll come.
You know what? Fuck it. I really enjoyed it, guys. This was awesome. I really liked having everyone here.
Can we do this again tomorrow?
Hey, maybe that's tomorrow.
That's
collective imagination. There you go, Lisa.
Sorry?
I said collective imagination. Are you doing collective imagination? No, you're not.
No, not for a bit. But it'll be back. It will be back.
Yeah.
Boom.
Love to everybody, because you guys have been awesome. This conversation, and both on screen and in chat, has been awesome as usual. So thank you. We'll see you at the same time next week. And
power to the people.
Bye from Jessie.
Power to the people.
Power to the poo, he said.
Power to the poo. No, the poo is the power.
That's correct. That is correct.
Exactly.
Literally.
Yeah, it doesn't need any extra. It already's got it all.
Oh, I think I have just covered both.
It's good shit.
I did an interview and talked about nothing but urine for 2 hours, and now I've just talked about poo.
Number ones and number twos.
Number ones and number twos. I got them both covered.
Number 3 is covered next week.
I don't even know what number 3 is.
Yeah. Most people won't.
Bye, guys.
Kaki te ano.
See you, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Hello and welcome to the One People Show.